If you are doing everything right and yet you are still not losing weight, or you may even be gaining weight, what is going on? This is what I'm going to be talking about today in this video. My name is Christine Nidra. I'm a transformational long-term weight loss coach, and I help women who are struggling with their weight, with eating issues, and I help them get to the root cause of their unique obstacles, really helping them to release those so that they can release weight more naturally and easily. So if you think you're eating correctly, you're eating healthy, you're exercising, and you're still not losing weight, what is going on? There's two things that could be going on, and these are going to be the most common ones for you to take a look at. So the first one is, what kind of foods are you actually eating? I've seen this a lot, that many people think they're eating healthy, and when I take a look at their food logs, I really get to see that they're actually eating a lot more carbohydrates than the body can possibly burn. So I see this a lot, particularly for people who are vegan or who are partial vegetarians or vegetarians. They're trying to get most of their proteins from nuts and seeds and legumes, all of which the nuts and seeds are very high in fat concentrations, and legumes are very high in carbohydrates. And the carbohydrates, the legumes, they will turn into fat because the body can't burn all those off unless you happen to be a marathon runner. The other thing that I see here too is people are eating a lot more vegetables, thinking that this is healthy for them, not realizing there are two types of vegetables. We have the non-starchy vegetables that don't have many calories in, don't have much carbohydrates in. Then we have the starchy vegetables that have high carbohydrate contents, and these will convert into sugar, which will convert into fat if the body's not able to burn these off. So what I'm talking about here for the starchy vegetables are things like peas and beans and potatoes. A lot of the root vegetables have got very high carbohydrate contents in them, and they will convert to fat. So when you're trying to increase your vegetables, which are always good in terms of weight loss because they're full of nutrients, make sure you're eating the non-starchy vegetables. And you can easily go online, look up non-starchy vegetables and starchy vegetables, and then you'll get the whole array of what you want to be eating more of, and maybe being a little bit more conservative in your non-starchy options that you decide on. So that is the first one, and one of the things you can do to really help with that is you can track your food for a week. Write the amounts down and what you're eating, and then at the end of the week take a look at what it is that you're eating, and you can see how many calories are you taking in. For instance, I was eating a lot of nuts and seeds, and I loved avocados, and when I did some tracking and looked at the calories, I was eating huge amounts of calories based on those particular foods. I've also seen a lot of people eat a lot of legumes, really liking the beans and lentils and those kind of foods. They are very high in carbohydrates. So take a look, track everything that you eat, the quantities, making sure that you include things like, if you're doing some cooking, that you include the amount of vegetable oil that you're using, olive oil that you're using, or the butter that you're using, because they have high calorie content. So that's number one. The second one, and I see this over and over again for the women who I see who cannot lose weight, who are eating healthy, who are exercising, and they're still not budging in their weight. They have underlying chronic long-term stress in their life, and they don't know how to manage that stress. That stress is internalized, and what happens is there's two different things that tend to happen. One is, which is something I've talked about before, when we're in a stress state, our body's pumping out cortisol as a way of helping us with the flight or fight response, and that creates more sugar in the body for the extra energy for fighting off whatever it is we need to fight off. But when we're not exercising and burning off those all that cortisol, it will change that, the sugar that's been created, that will convert into visceral fat. That is fat around our bellies, and this is the most dangerous type of fat that we can possibly have. So that is one of the things about stress. The other one is when we're stressed, our higher brain function is not quite as strong as when we're calm and relaxed, and we tend to make decisions about our food choices that aren't exactly healthy. We will go more for the foods that will give us a chemical hit of making us feel better, a serotonin hit. So this is why when we're stressed, we want to eat those comfort foods. We want to have ice cream, pizza, cookies, candy. All of the, usually the processed kind of foods, they have quick sugar hits and they also create serotonin. They help calm the body down, but in a very unhealthy way. So those are the main the main two causes of why we might be keeping the weight on. So in terms of the stress, the important thing with stress is learning how to calm the mind and the body down. And this is a skill. It's not something we can just suddenly do. And if you want to know what it feels like to be this kind of relaxed, many of us aren't really aware of what it is to feel deeply relaxed anymore because we're so much under the stresses and responsibilities of our life. You can think about when you were on vacation, you were away from all your responsibilities, away from all your stress in your life, and you felt that deep sense of let go. It feels really delicious. It feels an amazing feeling. It's like this deep sigh of relief in the body. That is the kind of relaxation we need to experience on a daily basis if we really want to shift the chemistry in our body towards weight release. And there's a couple of ways you can do this. The first one is the way that we normally hear about, and that is breathing. Breathing slow and very rhythmically. That will slow our bodies down and take it out of the stress response. It can be also still pretty difficult even doing the breathing. So one of the things that I suggest to a lot of people is that they practice something called yoga nidra. This is the yoga of sleep, and this is a practice that helps the mind and the body relax very deeply. And when we do this every day, I usually suggest doing it just before going to bed. If you get a chance during the day, great to do it then. This will calm everything down and you will start developing an ability to relax more readily, and the body will start noticing the difference. So you'll start knowing when you're stressed. You can get Yoga Nidra almost anywhere on the internet. If you go to YouTube, you can check it out. If you get an app called Insight Timer, they have a load of Yoga Nidras on there, and the app is free. It's an incredible app that I use and I suggest to all of my clients as well. So there you have it. 2 things to look at if you are struggling with weight loss, you're thinking you're doing everything right. Take a look at what you're eating. How much carbohydrate are you eating? How much concentrated fats are you eating as well? That could be the source of it. Even if they are healthy, it's still a lot of extra calories. The other one is to look at your stress, and I can't stress this enough, excuse the pun, but that is where most of us are at these days. We're very stressed. We have a lot going on in our life. We're stressed by time, our responsibilities. There is a lot of things happening. So learning to relax in a deep way in our body and mind will really shift things for you. So if you'd like to talk a little bit about your particular issues around weight, if you are struggling and you can't figure out why am I not losing weight, I have these 10 to 15 minute complimentary chats where I can assist you with what might be going on. You can also do a food log and we can look at your food log together, and this is a free option for you just to get a little bit more detail. So you can go to my website and go to the About page on my website, scroll to the bottom, and there's a place where you can look at my calendar and you can set up a time that works for you. So my website is resetmyweight.com, And if you liked this video, click the like button down below and also subscribe.